Thank you very much, Zoe. Hope you had a good workout. It sure did look like an energizing one at that. But right now, we focus on our wildlife. And when last, be honest, have you actually planted a tree? Have you ever planted a tree, or have you ever kind of thought about planting a tree? Well, most people actually haven't, but trees are vital to our lives and ecosystems, and deforestation is one of the biggest threats to the natural world. Now, one organization on a mission to combat this is Greenpop, which was founded back in 2010 with the simple mission of planting 1,000 new trees in a month. Now, we are joined this morning by Head of Communications, Zoe Gold. Zoe, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
To put you in our plant-rich area.
Yeah, it's lovely. I love this space.
Feel right at home.
Definitely.
Greenpop, I've come across the name quite a lot. Been going now for going on 8 years now.
Yes.
What is the organization really all about? What's at the core?
So we did start with the mission of planting 1,000 trees in 1 month back in September 2010. And after that, it kind of just snowballed. And now we are focusing on restoring and conserving ecosystems across sub-Saharan Africa. We're working in 4 countries at the moment.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And I know that you guys have been doing phenomenal work hosting weekends away, some of which are coming up right now as well. We'll talk about that. But it's scary. We just spoke about environmental news with a simple temperature increase of 2%. It could be devastating, but also the human footprints. Cities getting bigger. At what rate are we losing our natural plant life?
Yeah, so if you look at the statistics, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, we've actually lost forests the size of South Africa since 1990. So that's quite dramatic, and it gives you quite a stark picture of what's actually going on. And in Africa, we have a really unique situation because obviously we're trying to achieve economic development, but we're also trying to achieve sustainability at the same time. So whereas Europe could just chop down all its trees and build a bunch of factories 100 to 200 years ago and then worry about the environment later, we don't have that luxury. So
we have to worry about it now.
We have to worry about it now. We have to worry about both of them at the same time. And the stats say that actually between 2000 and 2030, will actually increase the size of our urban spaces by 700% in Africa. So obviously if our cities are expanding, which in itself is great, that also means that we need to take account of the nature that we're losing in the process.
We need to build clever. We need to expand those spaces very cleverly.
Definitely.
So up until today, the reforestation work that you at Greenpop has been doing, how many trees have been planted and what is the impact that had on the environment?
Yeah, so we've actually planted 80,000, almost 90,000 trees in total since 2010. 60,000 of those have been in reforestation projects. One of our largest reforestation projects is near Hermanus, and we've planted almost 40,000 trees at that site. And the change is quite amazing. Obviously, it's very slow. It's better to not cut down a forest in the first place than have to rebuild it. But in 30 years, we'll see a closed tree canopy in that forest. And we're already seeing some species returning to the area that weren't there before, including the Cape leopard, which is so exciting.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And also the places, the spaces where you plant these trees, I mean, are they protected? Are they safe?
Yes.
They're not going to be chopped down again?
No, they're not going to be chopped down again. They're all in reserves. So the forest I was just speaking about is the Plapos Forest Reserve. And that is just an incredible Afro-montane forest, a very unique ecosystem, and it's the southernmost forest in Africa, so it's very special to us.
That is amazing. I can see the passion in your eyes as you talk about this. You really enjoy what you do. We can have more with Zoe coming up next. It's my feel-good breakfast show. Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. I hope you are enjoying your Thursday morning with us so far. It's been an interesting one at that. Right now, though, we continue into the wild, and we're talking about the importance of reforestation, and one organization doing phenomenal work is Greenpop, and we have their Head of Communications joining us this morning, Zoe Gold. Thank you very much once again, Zoe, for joining us, and also for the incredible work that you guys are doing. So we spoke about reforestation, the human footprints, and what impact that has on the environment. But right now, urban greening, something new that Greenpop is investing in. What exactly is that? How does it work?
So urban greening is just bringing the natural landscape into cities. So ideally that should be a consideration of every city, is making sure that we have green space within our urban areas. But in Cape Town, where we mostly run our urban greening work, we have this very stark disparity between very privileged, very green neighborhoods and then not so privileged, quite gray neighborhoods that don't have a lot of trees and a lot of biodiversity. So Greenpop is actually trying to restore the biodiversity and the plant life to those areas. And we've planted about 20,000 trees on the Cape Flats since we started. And we're also now branching out, because of the drought, into some different species, including fynbos, because fynbos is obviously such an important part of our ecosystem in the Western Cape. And a lot of the spaces that we would be planting in actually naturally would have fynbos. So we're trying to restore the ecosystems back to what they were, and also pop in a few trees for shade for kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we're talking about thousands and thousands of trees here, 80,000 total, I think, that you guys have planted across the course of Greenpop. But where do they all come from? So most of the trees, well, all of the trees are indigenous species. So we try and use trees that are going to perform very well in the conditions that we are putting them into. So it depends based on where we are, and we always work with local tree suppliers and sponsors to get our trees. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, on top of that, you're also hosting some fundraising events, one of which is taking place this weekend, you've mentioned. Yes. What is happening? So we are hosting our 8th annual Reforest Fest this weekend and next weekend. Awesome. The event is situated in the Plapos Forest Reserve, which I said is near Hermanus, and it takes place over 2 weekends. So the first weekend is the Family Fest. So we're going to see a lot of kids there with their parents, all planting trees and doing eco-friendly activities and learning about the environment and just getting immersed in nature. And we have some bands and everything like that as well. And then Friends Fest is more for people without kids. The music goes on a bit later. We have some more adult activities. But both weekends are really about getting immersed in nature and planting a lot of trees. We're planning to plant 10,000 trees over the next 2 weekends. And it's such a fun way to give back as well. Definitely. So where can people get more info on that? So they can get more info on our website, which is greenpop.org, or the website for the event is reforestfest.com. Reforestfest.com. Awesome stuff. Zoe, thank you very, very much. All the best with the event, and thank you for the work that you and your team are doing. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So go out there and spare a thought for a tree. Maybe plant one as well at home.